big Brew Crew Territory. Braun and Pierzynski with you. Corbin Burnes is about to join the show, and we'll get Ken Rosenthal's take. So, AJ, Corbin Burnes gets traded to the Baltimore Orioles, and how shocked were you?
Oh, my jaw hit the ground. Oh, why? Because we thought once they signed Rhys Hoskins, he wasn't going to get moved, right? Mm-hmm. Pat Murphy, Matt Arnold, they've all come out and said, hey, we're not trading Corbin Burnes. And then, bam, middle of the night, here he is. Corbin Burnes is now a Baltimore Oriole. Absolutely shocked. Great for the Orioles. Interesting move for the Brewers. We'll see if DL Hall and Ortiz can come out and make up for it and the first-round pick they're going to get, but just absolutely floored that they made this move.
Corbin Burnes was shocked about the move because of the direction of the Brewers lately. So let's get right to that conversation with the man of the week. Corbin, how you doing, man? And take us through the play-by-play of your last 12 hours.
Yeah, it's still a little crazy. Obviously a lot to get in line. This will be the first spring training in Florida, moving to a new city. So there's obviously a lot to get in order in the next 10, 11 days before I'm heading out. So it's exciting. It's an exciting new ball club. Looking forward to get going. But definitely been a crazy, a little over 12 hours now.
What do I do with my card now? It's a sad day for my Corbin Burnes card. It's upside down. But what do I do with it now? Do I paint it orange, the hat orange, and change it to Orioles, or what? I mean, my favorite player got traded. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, we'll just have to get you a new one in the Orioles orange.
How was your bullpen today? Was it a little bit extra adrenaline because you're thinking, man, I got some people I got to impress now. New team, new teammates.
Definitely lighting the radar gun up a little bit. So I'm a few sticks ahead than I'm usually at this point in the off season. So I don't know if it's a little extra adrenaline, a little extra juice going, but it was good.
Let me ask you this. I want to know some details, brother. I think it's the coolest thing. Like, how did this go down? With other teams involved? You're going back and forth with your agent. Who called you first? Like, can we talk about that a little bit? These are like the exciting parts about how really things go. Nobody really hears about this kind of stuff. So talk to us about how it went down and how your last 24 hours were and the excitement. Or the wife is like, here we go. What are we gonna do? So tell us about everything.
Yes, we were just finished eating dinner. We're sitting down, we're watching TV. My kid screaming at me on the ground to play, and the phone rings for the GM of the Brewers is calling. And I told my wife as soon as I saw the phone call, I said, I just got traded. She's like, what do you mean? I said, watch. So I answered the phone, and obviously they give the spiel of how much you mean to what you meant to the organization, the last 6-7 years, looking for the now and the future, blah blah blah. Then I've been traded to the Baltimore Orioles, and so that was about it on that phone call. And then so immediately I pick up the phone to call my agent, because I know that it's going to be basically a shit storm for the next 24 or 48 hours to try to get things lined up with travel and moving. And like I say, the wife's like going, what are we going to do now? We got a house in Milwaukee, this and that. So basically, after I get off the phone from him, I'm getting the call from Mike Elias from the Orioles, and obviously he's fired up. He said he'd been working for months to try to make this deal happen. I'm not sure if the change in ownership prompted a little bit extra effort to get the deal done, but that was it. So that was that phone call, and then it was the phone call after phone call, and start looking on Airbnbs for spring training and everything else. So it's still definitely ongoing. But it's exciting.
What's the number situation going to look like with Baltimore? Because I don't know if you checked who's got yours, but it is taken at the moment.
I have no idea. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm sure that's going to happen in the next couple of days once the dust settles here a little bit. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Bradish,
who's got 39?
Bradish.
Oh, are you going to drop the time card on him? Are you going to be like, time card, kid, Cy Young? See that trophy? That's a Cy Young, kid. When you win one of those, then you can win 39.
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. We'll see what happens.
Oh, okay. That's a big play to bust. I mean, you can drop the big guns on him here and be like, listen, I'll give you $500, Bradish. You're a good pitcher, but Cy Young, lots of years, it makes sense. By the way, you're going to love Sarasota, okay? So I know you're used to Arizona spring training. You're going to absolutely love Sarasota. You can take your kids fishing, There's sunsets. There's great restaurants. There's water. There's grass. There's all these cool things they don't have in Arizona. It's amazing. I mean, you might have to travel a little bit more to get to your games, but I'm sure you're not going to pitch in too many road games. So just trust me. When you get to Sarasota, you're going to be like, damn, I am in God's country.
I'm excited. Like I said, it's my first spring training out there, and you won't believe who the first player was that texted me about it. I'll give you one guess.
Oh,
I was going to say Katz.
No, I'm going to say Cal Ripken.
He's a frequent on the show, Rowdy Tellez, because he's not far.
Oh,
nice.
He's just road. So Rowdy was all over. Oh, you're gonna love Sarasota. This and so I think Rowdy was more fired up for me being in Florida spring training more than anything. But I think he was more happy that now that I think we only played the Pirates one time this year. So I think he's just excited to have to wear a cutter off the back shoulder.
You can get him in spring training. And also because you guys will play each other like every game. So because Bradenton and Sarasota, you guys can live together and you can hit them every time because, I mean, you guys are like 10 minutes from each other. So you're going to love that. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Probably not with Rowdy. But the other thing is, just think about this. In Sarasota, you can drive your own car to the park. You can leave when you're done. I mean, it's one of those things. But has Freddie Peralta reached out to you yet? Because he said he hadn't called Hader when we had him on the other day. So has Freddie reached out to you yet? Because if he hasn't, next time we have him on, we're going to say he hasn't reached out to Hader or Corbin Burnes.
It's funny you say that. So on my way to my bullpen, I actually texted Freddie, texted him about that. Me and Freddie have been together every season for the last 8 years since I was drafted. So he's like the one guy that's been on every team that I've had. So I texted him, thanking him for the time and being a good teammate. And he owns like 3 or 4 houses in Milwaukee. So I was asking him if he wanted to buy another one.
That's a smart move. Get him early. Yeah, you're gonna have to get him quick now. That's I remember when I got traded, we had to sell the house too. It's not fun. So your wife, give her some extra love. All right. My question to you is: now you got Adley Rutman, dude. Are you excited about having him behind the dish and working with him throughout the year?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, he's one of the most exciting young catchers in the game. Does it well from both sides of the plate. So excited to obviously get into camp and get to work with him. It's the challenge every year is getting a good feel throwing with your catchers, and so this will be for me. It's the 3rd season in a row now that it'll be a kind of new catcher, new battery situation. So to get into camp and just have those conversations with him, throw bullpens to him, get comfortable with him back there, get him comfortable with me. It's a longer process than I think most people understand. Obviously, AJ, you know that. But it's one of those things that it takes multiple weeks, multiple bullpens, game sessions just to kind of get that comfortability and kind of get on the same page. So definitely looking forward to it. But that's probably the biggest challenge heading into camp.
Corbin, your name had popped up in trade rumors for a while, and that this was going to happen eventually, although maybe not until after the season with Milwaukee, given some of the moves they had recently made. Are you relieved that it happens now versus in July? And were you surprised, given that they signed Rhys Hoskins recently, that they weren't going to say, screw it, let's just go into the season and see what happens?
Yeah, definitely was shocked. Definitely it being this late in the spring, like you say, with some of the moves that the Brewers had made to better the offense and kind of get some more depth. But whether it was now or July, it's probably better that it was now, just so going in, you're getting a full season of working with these guys. You don't have to jump into a new team mid-season trying to learn things on the fly while you're in the middle of the season. So now at least you get 6 weeks, you get to meet everyone, you get to get that the relationship going with the catchers, with the infielders, just really everyone that it involves having a full healthy season. So probably definitely better that it happened now, knowing that there's a lot of work that goes into it. But I was definitely shocked, and there was shock when I called my agent and he was like, "Wait, seriously? What?" It kind of goes counterproductive to what they, some of the sentiment, the comments that were said with the Hoskins signing. So it was definitely, I think, caught everyone off guard. I think the only people that didn't catch off guard was the Orioles front office, because they've, when I talked to Mike Elias on the phone, he said, "Look, this has been 3 months in the making. We've been trying to get you." So he was obviously fired up, and it's a good young organization that won a lot of baseball games last year, and hopefully win a lot more baseball games this year.
I forgot. So you and Hoskins both have Boris, right? So you found out before Scott did. Is that normal too, by the way? Do you find out, I guess the team calls the player and then you kind of relay the message over? Because, yeah, he had just been working with the Brewers on the Hoskins deal.
Yeah. I'm guessing from what I've heard from other guys is the team will kind of reach out to you first before the news spreads. I think I knew probably it was about 35 minutes before it went public. Just obviously talking to both GMs, agents, and then it goes public, and then your phone starts blowing up. So I probably had a good 30-minute window before it went public.
Well, who leaked it? Did you leak it? Did Scott leak it? Did your wife leak it? Did your kid leak it? I mean, who leaked it? 30 minutes is a small window.
I have no idea who leaked it. I don't know who it was. I don't know, because I'm sure that the teams announced after. So I don't know where the leak was. Who said what to who? But yeah, there was about 30 minutes before I started getting all the the phone calls and everyone reaching out wanting to know what happened and knew if I knew about it and that kind of thing. And I was caught off guard just like everyone else was.
What's your message to Brewer fans? Because you were there and you had a great career, obviously there. What's your message to Brewers fans? And then we'll follow that up when you're done with what's your message to Orioles fans, your new team.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, obviously thank the fans, thank the organization. That's the only organization I had been a part of up to this point. They gave me a chance out of college. They gave me a second chance after 2019 when I struggled so bad, and we had a lot of winning seasons, a lot of good baseball over there. I felt honored to be a part of the best stretch of baseball in Brewers history. To have that many winning seasons, to go to the postseason that many times. We had a really good thing going over there, and each year it seemed like we were one piece away, one big game away from going all the way. So I loved every minute of being in that city. The people in Milwaukee in the Midwest are great and treated me great. So it was definitely a time that me and my wife loved. My son got to spend a couple years there, so it was a place that will always have a special place in our heart. And hopefully whenever we visit there, we get to visit all of our our favorite restaurants and get to see all the people that we made those connections with over the years. But definitely weird feeling when you get traded, because you got the excitement, you got a little bit of the the kind of the sadness of the emotions of being in a place for 1 year that it's all change is not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but this has changed and something that we got to get used to really quickly. And then the message to the Orioles fans is, look, I'm going to come over there and do what I've done for the last 4 years, go out and compete every 5 days, give everything I got. I'm accustomed to winning baseball, so it's an organization that is up and coming and has done a lot of winning last year, and has a great young core, great young players, exciting team that I'm looking to hopefully add my touch to and win a lot more baseball games and get to the World Series and hopefully win the whole thing.
Well said, brother. Well said. That's funny. Big dog. Good stuff, bro. One of the goats right there.
That could have been Corbin right there instead of Tiger.
It might have been. He might be giving him high five. Let's go, big dog.
Let's go. You're on a contender.
Hey, anyway, I want to talk about the AL East a little bit. You're going to have to face some big dogs going there. We know a couple of teams aren't, at the capacity where they used to be. Yankees, Blue Jays, you got some teams that you're going to have to contend with. The Rays are always good. Have you thought about, I know it's brand new, but have you thought about going up there facing, Soto and Judge and what you got to do to get those guys out?
I haven't yet. That was actually, I thought about probably about 10 minutes after my bullpen, some of the new, ballparks that I've only been to maybe one time in my career, facing the American League, who over the last 6 years haven't faced that many teams. So it's going to be a lot of new ballparks, a lot of new faces to learn, a lot of scouting reports and a lot of time that we're going to have to put in to get to know these guys and have some plans of attack. But yeah, it's exciting. Some of the the ballparks and the cities in that division are so historic and have had teams for so long that it's great baseball communities, great baseball fans. So definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, going to be a lot more homework as far as having to, new scouting reports, not playing the Cubs and the Pirates and the Cardinals, 6-7 times a year and having the same scouting report and tweaking it here and there. Now it's a whole new ball game, whole new scouting reports, a lot more time doing video and the homework to prepare for those teams. For sure.
Welcome to the Northeast, brother.
Hey, are you going to grow the mullet back out?
I don't know. It's kind of long now. I haven't decided if it's going to get cut off or if it's going to stay and let it keep going. Oh look, there's Kratz. He texts me right now. He's missing the show, but he's texting me.
Unbelievable.
Do you know where he is, by the way?
Where is he?
He's on an African safari. He's so pissed. That's actually where he is. I kid you not. Eric Kratz, who has been waiting for this moment for like 6 months to interview you, can't do it because there's no service in South Africa next to that guy. Oh, he's on the plane now.
Oh,
he's
so
on his way back.
Yeah.
There you go, Corbin. Bush League.
That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty. I wish one of those lions would attack Kratz and try and tackle him for.
Kratz would win.
He would win. Yeah, that's Chuck Norris right there.
AJ, did you have one or?
No, I'm just laughing at Kratz because I'm just laughing that Kratz is on a plane and he just found out. I mean, this happened like, I don't know, 12 hours ago. I'm laying in bed. I remember I'm laying in bed and it comes across my phone. Corbin Burnes got traded. I'm like, oh shit, I got to get up because I'm like, I knew we were going to do a show live. And I was man, and we did last night. So thank you for not making it too late. But I like jumped up and was like, oh no, I got to go.
What did he say, by the way? What did Kratz say just now? Can you read it? I mean, obviously, anything Kratz says is automatically going to be recited on this show.
Congrats on the trade. Crazy happy for you. Bummed I'm not on with you right now, but juiced to see you in the orange.
There you go. All right, he's back. Okay, so question for you. I'm sure you saw a few days ago the news for the Orioles. They have new ownership. So how exciting is that? Because there's a group coming in that obviously has some deep pockets. It's got some Dodgers, Mets vibes because it's big finance billionaires coming over to take this Baltimore team that already is super stacked and talented and maybe add some money to it. And hey, I mean, we talked to you last time about the arbitration, settlement that you made, and the Orioles are adding some serious cash here between you and Kimbrel. So I don't know how much you've paid attention to that news, but I was saying I think it's a factor here because they can up their payroll. This is getting a little businessy, but teams that are selling will keep their payroll low because that'll help the franchise value. But now that deal's done, this could be like glorious times in Baltimore. And if come July you guys need something, they might add more than they used to.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's got to be the most exciting time for that Baltimore organization that since. Gosh, I think ever since the Angelos took over, I think it's kind of been heading that direction. So to have this new ownership that I don't know if they had anything to do with this trade. Maybe they gave the go ahead to pull a trigger and have plans on adding more now, adding more at the deadline. But just knowing that you have an ownership group that's willing to go out and spend money, I think is what you want from an organization. You want to know that hey, if we're contending, you're going to be able to add, or in the off season when we need some pieces, you're going to go out and get those pieces. I think that's what I think any player that plays in an organization, any fan base of an organization wants to know is that their ownership's going to go out there and add, and when you need something, they're going to go get it. So it's definitely exciting knowing that this ownership change has the possibility of doing that. It looks like they're going to do that. So it could be the beginning of something really good in Baltimore, especially like you say with that young group of players that burst onto the scene the last couple of years and have done so good.
We can show that tweet too while I'm asking this next question to Corbin. There you go. It's your boy Adam Jones, FT host, saying woke up to this because he's usually in Europe. So that I think was early in the morning. Huge welcome to Berlin. I've been texting Adam this morning too. He's fired up. I'm sure you'll see a ton of him. He's a legend out there. Have you spoken in depth at all with anyone in the Orioles org yet? Elias, Hyde, etc. about just whatever the loose plans. I'm sure you're not getting into the nitty gritty yet, but loose plans of what to expect there, or just hey, we're excited to have you. This is our big move.
Everything right now has just been the initial intros. Glad to have you, kind of thing. I think there's obviously a lot that's going to happen in the next couple of days as far as me and getting things set up and travel wise. But I talked to Hyde late last night. We're going to jump on a call this weekend or early next week just to get to know each other a little more, break things down. I'm sure at some point in the next week or so I'll do the same with Elias. But right now it's more just getting the intros done. getting everything, scheduling wise, when I'm going to get out there, living arrangements, that kind of stuff. That's kind of the priority right now, just to make sure I have a place when I get there. But like I said, we got plenty of time to have those conversations, but I'm sure there'll be some phone calls, whether this weekend, early next week, of kind of getting in depth and just talking about the direction of what's going on, what's happening. It's a brand new organization that I got to learn about, and a lot of new faces I got to learn, a lot of names that I'll probably forget at some point along the way. So just a lot of moving parts still.
Would you be open to an extension? I know you haven't got there yet, and I know your agent Scott Boras usually doesn't like. But if they came to you with a big number, and I'm not even going to throw numbers out there, but would you be open to staying with the team if in the middle of a season? I'm just saying again. I know you haven't been there, but would you be open if they came to you and said, "Here's 10 years, $500 million," just random numbers? Would you be open to it no matter what?
I think my word probably still stands true from what I said the last time I was on. It's one of those things that being away from free agency, I think it'd be something that would kind of have to blow you away. I think everyone likes to get to that opportunity. Everyone puts in a lot of time to get that opportunity to kind of pick where they want to play and see what their true value is on the market. Obviously with this new ownership group coming in, you never know what can happen. But I think being a year away from free agency and kind of the most exciting time of being a player that gets to that point is being able to kind of choose where you want to be. And look, I've like I said, I've never been to Baltimore, never don't know anyone in this organization yet. Could love it. Things may change as things kind of progress, but just kind of where I'm at and where I'm sitting, it's one of those things that I'm a year away from free agency. If they come out with an offer that absolutely blows me away, and it's something that me and my family just can't turn down, then yeah, I think there's a possibility. But I think that's kind of everything kind of holds true to what I've been saying for really the entire offseason. So if they come at me with something crazy, then it'll definitely go under consideration. But if not, hopefully we go and have a great year and this year, and we win the World Series, and we can look in the rearview mirror and see what happens.
Corbin, one or two fan questions before you jump. So Mike said, are you excited to finally get a start against Tampa, only AL East team you haven't faced? You mentioned how some of these ballparks are a little less familiar. Have you never faced the Rays?
I haven't, no. So we played the Rays in their place, I believe, last year, and they came our place the year before, and never crossed paths with them, no. So that'll be a team that I haven't faced, and there's got to be another AL team out there I haven't faced, because we don't play them all that much, but I don't know right off the top of my head. But I do know that the Rays are one that I have not started against, so we'll see.
There you go. The Trop's lovely any time of year because there's a nice roof. So I kid, and I can because I live nearby. I have one for you real quick too on Milwaukee. I know you mentioned you were shocked because I was really shocked. I thought that once the Rhys Hoskins move was made that they were going to say, you know what, screw it. We think we're the best team in the Central. Your team won the Central by 9 games last year. And I know there's no big woo. Brandon Woodruff is going to miss probably the entire year with the shoulder surgery, but still I thought on paper you guys probably would have been the favorites, maybe close with Cincinnati at the moment. The Cubs haven't done that much. Are you surprised that Milwaukee didn't even kind of have some personal beef, knowing Mark Attanasio too was very pissed that Craig Counsell left and said, you know what, screw it. We're going to win this division and beat up the Cubs this year.
Yeah. So from what I had heard, just through, agency, through some of the organization guys that I grew close with the Brewers, that was kind of the sentiment. It was kind of like, hey, Counsell left. They got one more year before guys are going to go to free agency. Let's add some pieces. Let's go, let's go beat the guys and make sure we beat the Cubs. And I know there was a little bit of bad blood there, but so I don't know what changed in the last couple of weeks. When I talked to Elias, he said that, obviously the Brewers were open to trading me. And then he said, partway through the off season, they said, nope, we're not trading them. And then he said, as of recently, they were open to trading me again. So it's kind of, on and in, on again, off again kind of thing for the entire off season. And eventually they got it done. So I don't know if there's something that changed in their organization, thought process, or if it was kind of one of those things that they've been open to it the entire off season and just waiting for the right deal, and it came. But yeah, I don't really know, but it was definitely caught me by surprise.
I'm going to point one thing out, and then we'll let you go. One game at Camden Yards. Do you remember what you did or no?
I think it was a pretty good one, if I remember. It was early on in 2021. Or no, excuse me, that was 2022. Yeah, it was
Yes.
maybe early April in 2022. I think.
Okay.
I think about, was it 9 or 10 that day?
7 shutout innings, 8 Ks, one walk. That's pretty good. So
Yeah, I do remember. It was a good one.
that's really good.
Let's do that a few times.
Let's do that a couple of times. It's true. That's awesome.
That's great. Well, Corbin, here, I'll give.
Hold on, wait. What's it going to be like? April 12th.
That's what I was going to finish with.
Milwaukee comes
I was
to
going to test
Baltimore.
him on the date. Did you know?
He doesn't know because, dude, listen, there's a million things going through his head right now. He's like, where am I going to live? Siesta Key, Longboat Key in Sarasota. Beautiful. Anna Maria is beautiful.
Text AJ if you need tips. He's the man.
But like, what's it going to be like? You take the mound. You look over there, Murph's yelling at you, right? Christian Yelich walks up to lead off, and you're like, oh, man, I know this guy really well. Like, it's a different feeling.
So at one point there will be a ball somehow airmailed into that dugout trying to hit Murph just to get him riled. If I can get Murph off his game and get him in some other world thinking about something else, and they'll just fall apart. No, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see those guys. Obviously, I won't get to see any of them this year in spring training, so that'll be the first time I get to see those guys again. I did know that we were playing them early in April only because some of the guys in the organization that had texted me, thanking me, doing saying the goodbyes, that kind of thing, said, hey, we'll see you in early April. So then I went and looked and saw that we had that series with them pretty early on, and I don't know if we'll match up against them or not. We'll see. I don't know how things. I don't know how many games in that is, and who knows what's going to happen early here. But it'll be fun to get to see those guys across the way and chat up with a couple of them and hopefully go 8 scoreless again.
Yeah, warm-up pitch. Just a little chuck over to Murph. Oops, my bad, Murph. Love you.
Love it.
Corbin, congrats, man. Congratulations. I know you mentioned getting this done before the season starts, now before spring training. It's really cool. You're going to an exciting franchise that's obviously already coming off 101 wins, and you're the man for doing this. A lot of the fans obviously in the chat are like, we need more of this in our game. So really appreciate you. I know there's a lot going on, and we'll see you in Sarasota. A little short trip for AJ and me. We'll be there in a few weeks.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you guys there.
A lot stands out from that conversation. Corbin's always great, but I liked your question about the extension talks because, of course, that's what Orioles fans want to know about. This is like a new toy for the Orioles, this ownership group that actually looks like it's going to spend money, and Orioles fans can actually say, hey, could we throw him an extension that entices him? So I liked the answer. Basically said no, but also kept it slightly open. You'd have to freaking blow the doors off with an offer to Corbin Burnes to prevent him from free agency. But we'll get Ken's take right now, too. Ken Rosenthal, FT Senior Insider, on this move for Baltimore and the aftermath in Milwaukee.
These talks were going on in December. The Orioles would have done it then. The framework of what ultimately became the deal was discussed then. The Brewers weren't ready. So if the Orioles were ready to do it then or willing to do it then, their willingness did not go away. They still wanted to do it. And it seems to me that it's a bit of a coincidence that it happened this week. And really, the decision was the Brewers more than the Orioles in that sense. So when you look at this trade, obviously there are a number of ways to look at it, like any trade. From the Orioles' perspective, you guys covered it pretty well. It's a brilliant, beautiful move. It's the guy they needed. We've all talked all winter long about how they needed a number 1 starter, and Corbin Burnes is one of the top 5 or 10 starters in the game, no question. As for the free agency and the possibility of him walking, that's fine. You have to take a shot when you're in the position they are, coming off 101 wins, great young core. They are ready to go, and maybe it doesn't work, and maybe Joey Ortiz and DL Hall become really good players for the Brewers. That's entirely possible, that scenario. But for the Orioles, you still have to take that shot. For the Brewers, I wrote about this today. In my opinion, they had to do it. And I know fans don't like hearing that. Certainly Brewers fans don't want to hear that. They didn't like the Hader trade, understandably so. And they won't like it if Willy Adames and or Devin Williams are the next to go. But this is the way the Brewers and teams in their financial position operate. And you can argue with me, as people are in comments, that Mark Attanasio has more money and should be able to carry this. I get it, and I don't disagree with that. But that's not the point. And that's not how the team is run. The team is run according to its revenues, for better or worse. And their revenues are not what the Dodgers are. Now, that's a systematic issue in the game. We've talked about that a lot. But if you're the Brewers and you face the possibility of losing Corbin Burnes for only a draft pick, that's going to hurt you going forward, as opposed to Joey Ortiz, DL Hall, and the 34th pick in the draft, which is about the pick you would have gotten for Burnes. You're getting that plus 2 players who could help you right away for a rental. To me, you do that every day of the week. I was surprised they didn't do it sooner. And will they be as competitive? Of course not. They're not going to be as competitive without Corbin Burnes, but they are set up now to be better over a 5-year period than, say, 2024 if they suffer a little bit. And if you're the Brewers, in my opinion, you have to make that deal.
Ken, do you think that Willy Adames is next, perhaps even before we get to spring training? Because clearly a decision has been made here by Milwaukee about players that are about to enter free agency. And obviously the value for Adames is not going to be what it is for Corbin Burnes, but this is a pretty darn good shortstop. There are definitely teams that could use one. And I feel like at the trade deadline, position players haven't been commanding that much. So maybe a full season gets them more.
Scott, you're absolutely right about that. It's much easier to trade pitchers at the deadline than to squeeze in a position player when in most cases you already have a player at that position. With pitchers, you're adding to what you have and you still need them. So yes, I expect that the Brewers will at least entertain offers for Adames. In fact, their general manager, Matt Arnold, said in a Zoom last night that certainly they're going to listen and entertain everything because that's where they are right now. So teams always do, but the fact that he didn't shut it down kind of said to me, Adames perhaps, and maybe even Devin Williams. It depends on how this plays out. They can trade Willy Adames and really be okay. Obviously, Willy is a veteran player and a really good player, and Joey Ortiz is not going to be him immediately. Bryce Terang, if they move him to short, certainly not the offensive threat that Willy Adames is, but they have a lot of infielders, and they can do this and possibly still be in a pretty good position. So I don't know that – I would say this. I don't know that it is definitely going to happen, but it would make a lot of sense to me if it did.
Okay, this is a show about the Brewers, so let's conclude with the state of the Milwaukee Brewers. There's promising young talent, but AJ, in my mind, you're actually looking at a team that is morphing from a pitching and defense squad to position players, young position players standing out, because there's some promising young pitching, but this is not going to be the Milwaukee Brewers that we've been used to for the past 5 or 6 seasons with Burnes and Woodruff and Freddie Peralta.
Agreed. And what will they do next? Will they trade a Willy Adames? Will they trade a Christian Yelich? Will they trade a Devin Williams at the back end of the bullpen? That's the question that I have if you're a Brewers fan is what's the next move? Because this can't be it. If you're going all in on a rebuild, a retool, whatever you want to call it, and you trade a guy like Corbin Burnes to get something, well, guess what? Willy Adames is also a free agent at the end of the year. So what will Matt Arnold and the Brewers Brain Trust do next? Because it's an interesting play, like we've talked about, trading away Corbin Burnes. I know he's a free agent at the end of the year, but he's also one of the top 10 pitchers in all of baseball. So it's an interesting move in that regard. I just want to see what the Brewers do next. And also, how will the Brewers fans react to these news? Because they're one of the best at coming out and packing the ballpark there in Milwaukee. Will this affect their relationship and their love for their Brewers squad?
Yeah, and even Corbin was surprised that Mark Attanasio didn't take it more personally that Craig Counsell left, because he did. But you would think the counter move is, you're an owner, this is your toy, why not pick on the Cubs? Maybe they're thinking about that more in the long term. They're more disciplined and I guess less emotional than everyone else. But it is curious to see what Milwaukee will look like coming off a season when they won the division by 9 games. That's not happening this coming season. I'm not saying they're going to be bad, but it's going to be a very different looking NL Central.
The rest of the NL Central is like, yes, no more Corbin Burnes in this division. It just got a lot more wide open for the Cardinals, the Reds, the Cubs, and even the Pirates, because one of the best pitchers and one of the biggest aces in the game is no longer in their division.
Props for Corbin Burnes for joining us. Ken Rosenthal jumping in, obviously bringing you the best coverage we can. Baseball the way it should be covered here on Brew Crew Territory, part of the Foul Territory fam. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you for the next one.